So it's no secret I've been glazing the Nintendo Switch 2 hard. Like very hard. I've been a big fan of the console, since it came out last year. I really enjoyed the original Switch, and I thought that console was great. Could have used, a little bit more oomph and the power and visuals department and stuff like that. And that's exactly what the Switch 2 did. Now, there's not a lot of things in this game industry, especially, when it comes to online drama and stuff like that. And, people loving games, hating games, console wars and all that, especially, being a content creator. There's not much that surprises me anymore. Well, after this recent Nintendo Direct, something definitely happened that's really surprising me. And I want to just make a video on it and talk about it. Gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tanek027 and welcome back to another video. And guys, in today's video, we're just going to be talking Nintendo. However, if you want to stay updated on all things Nintendo, whether that's Nintendo Switch, Xenoblade, Zelda, or any of that good stuff, make sure you are liking today's video, subscribing to the channel if you are new, and let's go ahead and get on into today's topic. So, as you guys know, the original Switch was a very popular console. Hell, I think it's still kicking a decent amount of ass to this day. However, it had one little drawback that began to show more and more over time. The console just was not that powerful. It had some decent third-party ports, some miracle ports here and there and stuff like that. Overall, the original Switch was solid. But I think it's fair to say we all wanted more power out of the console. Now, we made our wishes loud and clear to Nintendo. They heard us, and they answered really well with the Nintendo Switch 2. And they've been killing it. First-party support, it hasn't been, the craziest, most wild thing. I know that there are people still out there looking for things like a 3D Mario, a brand new Zelda, and, and stuff like that. But it's got great backwards compatibility, upscale Switch 1 games. The graphical support is awesome on it. It can support 120 FPS, ray tracing, and it's been having great third-party versions of PS5 and Xbox Series and high-end PC games. We've gotten amazing third-party support out of this thing, and Nintendo listened. They listened very well. Well, one thing that happened with, this most recent Direct is people are still upset and complaining. Now, this Nintendo Direct was killer, all right, for for a lot of people. Like, this Direct, I almost want to say it's a 10 out of 10. They showed amazing third-party games, games that you would never expect to come to Nintendo Switch. We got Lies of P. We got another Wulong. We got the Kingdom Hearts 4 game, another big gameplay reveal for Kingdom Hearts 4 at this Direct. All kinds of things happen here. And to top it off, we got a new Xenoblade, HD updates for all 3 Xenoblade games on the Switch 2, and not to mention a remake of the greatest Zelda game of all time. Now, me personally, I'm crazy about Majora's Mask. And that's my personal favorite. But I love Ocarina of Time. I love it. I'm going to be playing the hell out of this remake. That's right, guys. We got a remake for The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Not coming out in 2027. Not coming out in 2028. Coming out sometime in the next 6 months. 10 out of 10 Direct. A remake of the most beloved Zelda game ever. Alright, I don't care if the rest of the Direct sucked. That one announcement alone is enough to carry. I don't care what anybody says. At least in my opinion. All right, I know on YouTube, guide, you got to be careful with that. But there are really people out there complaining, and one creator in particular. And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of him. I love this guy, but Switch Force, a big staple in the Nintendo community, says he feels dead, feels nothing. He feels empty, when he saw this. I was like, I'm just looking at it and I'm just like, how? Nintendo announced a remake of the best Zelda game of all time, and you feel nothing. The Switch 2 is doing what you and the rest of the community have been begging Nintendo to do for damn near a decade. And you get a big direct like this. Your main platform is literally flexing its muscles right now. You're not happy for them or anything. You feel nothing. And there are people out there agreeing with this. How? How can you watch something like that with all of that hype surrounding it? We got a new Final Fantasy VII Part 3 remake. We have Rebirth running on Switch 2, looking amazing. You got Lies of P. You got Wulong. Like I said before, Kingdom Hearts 4 is a brand new open world Xenoblade game and on a whole different timeline than the other ones. There's so much going on here. And you feel nothing. I used to always wonder why people came at Nintendo fans so hard because, like I said, all three game companies at the end of the day and all fan bases, they got their wishes, they got their issues, and some people, they have their ways. I'm not trying to disrespect nobody or anything. Like PlayStation players, for example, they want their original single player games back instead of the focus on live service. Xbox players, they just want exclusives again. Us Nintendo players, we just wanted our exclusives and a more powerful console to get third party support. We're the one company, we're the one group. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said company. We're the one group that actually got our wish out of all three of these. Like, Xbox is struggling. PlayStation are still trying to tiptoe the live service thing. Nintendo's the only one that actually listened to their fans throughout their previous generation and did what they asked them to. And there's people actually split about it. And then when these game companies don't listen, y'all are mad, pissed, crying, throwing death threats around on the internet and stuff like, what? And like, the thing that bothers me is because like, this just makes us Nintendo lovers look terrible, look indecisive and stuff like that. Like, I get it, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But when you're an influencer, you have I'm not going to say an amount of power, but, your videos, your opinion is seen by massive amounts of people. It gets attention from fans, game developers, people that just occasionally browse YouTube for content, maybe curious about that game or platform and stuff like that. And you see something this big, Nintendo are finally cheering themselves on, like, yeah, we did what our fans wanted and we are killing it, and not to mention we are giving them the game they've been begging for, a remake of the best Zelda, and that's how some people act. And yet everyone can't figure out why we Nintendo fans get come at so hard sometimes. It's because of stuff like this. And I'm not saying, that Switch Force or, anyone else with this opinion needs to swap their opinion around and, just go with the flow and everything. But at the very least, Nintendo doing this, round of applause. Be grateful. Yes, Nintendo makes their mistakes. The Switch 2 is a pricey boy, alright? They've sold some $80 games. Don't get me wrong, Nintendo have done their shit. But I'm sorry, with the way they're doing things right now and all these announcements, there's no way in hell you should be a Nintendo fan, especially that experienced the life cycle of the Switch 1, and be complaining right now. They're literally doing what we asked. I don't understand it. And I had to make a video on it, guys. I had to, because this literally boggles my mind. But anyway, guys, you agree with me? Disagree? Let me know down in the comments below. Y'all enjoyed today's video? Smash that like. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.